Glad to have you back on this segment of Engendered on KAFTAN television. And like we rightly said before the break, Engendered is a show where we discuss all issues revolving around the female gender. And actually, we also discuss issues that affect the male gender sometimes. And looking at the state of our economy right now, Pamela and I chose a very sensitive topic, like she rightly said, that we're going to be discussing at this moment because we can't act like we're ignorant to the things happening around us. And our last episode was on Valentine's Day, so moving away from the love right now, we're going to...
Are you sure you're going to move away right now? You're still in the love week.
No. I think I've covered that already.
I told someone that, please don't move away. Someone said something like, Jana said, please, we are still on the love week. And the girl was surprised. Pamela, you've moved Valentine from one day to a whole week.
Girl, like, I can't blame you for that. But then we have to go to... Even for us to be in love, our you know... I was already about to mention the topic already. So we are going to be discussing mental health today.
Yeah.
And we chose this particular topic because of the things happening around us. We've seen videos of people ranting, like, leave the videos. Our neighbors, our friends, our colleagues, people are having issues just transporting themselves to one place to another. You have the money you can't spend. The election is forthcoming. See what happened in was it in Edo yesterday?
Edo, Delta,
and
Ondo.
Like things are happening. People don't know who to talk to. They don't know how to keep sane. They don't know what to do exactly. Some people are experiencing depression right now. They have no idea that they are actually depressed. Some people are contemplating suicide. You'll be shocked, but because they've not told you, that's why you don't know about it. But it's in their heart. So today because of the love we have for you, we decided to discuss mental health today. And doing this with us is Ajaero Brown. She's the co-founder of Lanhealth Initiative. You're welcome to the show.
Welcome to the program. A beautiful name for a beautiful woman. Ajaero Brown. I love the name so much.
Welcome. All right, viewers. And always know that our phone lines are open. You can always call in and give us your contributions whenever you feel like you want to. So you're welcome to the show, Ajaero Brown. And before I think we'll delve into this topic of discourse today, I would like to read. I was going through the paper, Tribune paper, so I saw a story and decided to pick it out for our topic of discussion. It says, Mental Health Bill, Stakeholders Urge Joint Efforts in Implementation. So the story here says, stakeholders have called for joint efforts to ensure implementation of the Mental Health Bill, as only through its implementation can mental health services and funding, among others, improve in Nigeria. Mrs. Adebola said that there is no health without mental health, and for the Mental Health Bill to be fully implemented, everyone must become champions to advocate and create awareness on the new bill. A neurologist said it is important to unravel the myths and misconceptions about medicine, particularly mental health. I feel we should embrace the idea of making mental health something we should not be ashamed of for individuals that we need to help. Also, a professor has said in an interview, speaking on the Mental Health Act, and he says, we need to try and get the government to implement the law. This particular law commits the government to not just provide human resources, but also financial resources in terms of implementation. And you know, anything that does that usually in Nigeria gets relegated to the background. I have my concern that this is not what the government will implement quickly, except to continue with pressure that has been going on for years. A lot of work still needs to be done. So now, moving from that, talking about the implementation of the Mental Health Bill. Ajaero Brown, I would like you to inform us or inform the viewers of what mental health is about.
Okay, well, you know, first of all, I have to thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
Nice
to have you.
It's really, you know, it's awesome. So mental health, really, you know, to make it like for layman's terms,
Yeah.
mental health is the state of your headspace.
Okay.
Meaning, what are you functioning with? Okay, if you're not functioning properly mentally, you can't have a good you can't function as a human being. So we find out that a lot of people don't even understand that they're not functioning well. Okay, they don't even know what's wrong with them. And before I delve further, I really want to thank the lawmakers who were instrumental in passing this mental health bill. And we should all embrace it. It's long coming. And one thing in Nigeria that is so sad is that Nigerians, once they don't understand something, they stigmatize it.
Yeah.
It becomes a stigma. It becomes a taboo.
Yeah.
You know, everybody thinks that mental health is someone who's crazy. No. Or someone who is going mad on the streets. Or somebody you don't touch because you'll be infected with whatever is going on with them. But that's not true. All of us, human beings, go through mental health issues. Some are genetic, some are triggered by trauma, some are just because of situations, stress related. So mental health is your state of well-being, functioning by your thought process, your brain process, just so everything has to be in balance. If your thought process is not balanced, then your mental health is not balanced. And that is why some people don't understand it. And when they are going through depression, they don't know. They know something is wrong, but they don't understand what's going on. And then mental health can also be genetic. Some people may be bipolar, schizophrenia. People look at them like they're crazy. It's not their fault. They just don't know what's happening. They're just as confused as you looking at them and trying to figure out stuff. And that's why this bill being passed, like the lady said, we need a collaboration of people to be able to enforce it. Okay, I don't know a lot of NGOs or a lot of people that are enforcing mental health. Unfortunately, we're one of the few. And then mental health is also expensive to deal with. So people run away from it. Because when you think about, okay, first of all, there's the stigma. Second of all, then you have to pay to talk to a psychologist or psychiatrist. You know, people run because half the time nobody has enough money. And the state of the economy now, the state of the country now, people just choose suicide as an option or choose to just be alone. But that is not an option. And, you know, moving further as we go, I'm really going to tell you what to do. And I urge health practitioners, you know, find it in a place. And I urge people to don't worry about the stigma. Look for a comfort person. Look for somebody to talk to be able to at least release some of the tension and some of the burden you're, you know, carrying. And, you know, lastly, you know, we're here. LAN is also here, you know, and we offer free therapy. Yes. So call us and we'll talk about it with you. It's absolutely free. Okay. But, you know, moving on, mental health is your whole state of well-being. Okay, you can be actually okay walking around, but mentally you're not.
Okay.
And it's going to show when you're walking, because some people will be talking to themselves, some people will be confused, some people will be like angry, some people will be like violent, some people will be suicidal. So, you know, so there has to be a balance in one's body. And if there's no balance, that's where we have a problem. So when your headspace ain't right, like they say, you know, overseas, then you ain't gonna be right. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, so basically we need to talk about how to get it right. Okay? And that's what we're here for.
Okay,
all right?
You really explained what mental health entails, but then there's these two conflicting words. We have mental health, we have mental illness. And people keep conflicting as if they are same word. I want you to throw a light on these two words.
Okay. So mental health is the overall well-being. Okay? Like, are you in a good state of mental health? Mental illness is usually referring to something genetic. You know, someone has a mental illness like schizophrenia, bipolar. You understand what I'm saying? Obsessive, I mean, they're just things that genetically it's okay. And also understand that we may also have those mental illnesses that don't come up unless there's a trigger.
True.
Okay? And so that trigger can trigger things to now go overboard. People are thinking of suicide. People, maybe they're borderline bipolar, and it triggers it because they can handle it. It could also trigger, you know, trauma triggers depression, can also trigger mental health, you know, because somebody has anxiety disorder, like rape, like, you know, just a whole lot of African parenting can also trigger anxiety, you know, all this kind of bullying. There are just so many things. So you find out that daily sometimes you're questioning your mental health because there's a lot of things that can actually, just trigger things or get you where you don't need to be, or get you confused, bad relationship like when Valentine, all those girls that your boyfriend don't left you because it's Valentine, he can afford to pay or buy you flowers, or the guys that the woman has ghosted you, it's just vice versa. I mean, we're laughing about it, but it really hurts. You understand what I'm saying? If you've been a victim, it really hurts. So, all these things, but mental illness has to do with an illness that is mentally related. Your mental health is the overall state of well-being of your, headspace, really. Yeah. Okay? So that's that's how we kind of rationalize it. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, now, so there's a lot of clamor for mental health. You see people post on social media these days, my mental health is not okay. We have NGOs like yours always come out for clamor for a good state of mental health. Why is this very important? Okay,
well, basically, let me give you an example. If, for instance, this is just an example now, don't take it. Okay, so let's say this is Valentine week, okay? And your boyfriend of 5 years, all of a sudden, 2 days before Valentine, he argues with you. And no explanation, okay? That's enough to get you worried. That's enough to get you upset. That's enough to get you overthinking things. Okay, think about when you come to work and you have to present something. Somebody can look at you and tell that you're just camouflaging because you're sad. Yeah. There's nobody you're going to talk to. You might want to talk to your friend. Girl, I told you he was no good. Why are you going? You know what I'm saying? And then if you tell somebody at work, look at what I'm going to, they're like, look at her. She can't even do her work because she's worried over a man. You don't have that outlet. So it's like you're carrying that burden, and when you're carrying it, it shows on your face. You're not able to function. So your mental health is now disrupted some kind of way. You're angry at people. You don't even know because you pick up a lot of unconscious behaviors due to the fact that you're not in a good headspace. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how you can tell. And then the bad thing is you don't have anybody to talk to. Because most of you find fake friends. Health professionals, you come to them, the first thing they tell you is you need Jesus, or you understand what I'm saying? They bring religion or some crap into it, and then turn around and call your parents or your best friend and tell them you came for therapy. It's just, so we don't have a way to handle it here in Nigeria. And that's why a lot of people don't understand. They say my mental health is not, they know that something is not right. They know something is bothering them, but they're even confused to be able to figure it out because there's no adequate resources or adequate personnel to figure things out. In a whole Nigeria, there are less than 200,000 psychiatrists. Most of them are old. Nobody wants to do psychology. Nobody wants to get into mental health because it doesn't pay as far as they're concerned. So there's a lot of things we are really needing to work on. But when someone is like, my mental health, which is everybody, you go, oh, I'm like, my mental health is just all the way down. Yes, there's something going on. Maybe they're depressed. Maybe they're no job. Maybe the state of the society. And it's so sad because I think it's Gen Z or Gen X. This generation, they've been through a lot. And their generation is so different. We call them the really most, how do we put it? They're very emotional generation because there are a lot of things they can't deal with. And rightfully so, because a lot has happened in their generation that is catastrophic, So it's really sad. And that's why most people, when they can't deal with issues going on with them, they turn to other things. That's why we have a high incidence of drug abuse. We have a high incidence of suicide. Nigeria is so bad. Nigeria is just rating one of the first 17th in the world. People don't know. Most of it is not documented very well. I can guarantee you they're probably the first 5. In the first 5 range, but there's no documentation of suicide, and so all these things are the things we need to worry about. We need to really talk about. And I'm so proud of you ladies that you're talking about mental health today.
Thank you.
Because it's something so dear to my heart, and it's something that we really need to work on. You know, we've been fighting for this bill, we've been talking about it, and it's finally done. Now is the time for it to be implemented. And we're hoping that whoever takes the reins will focus on mental health, because that's really a problem right now. Let's not even talk about anything else. Mental health is a problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big problem. So, you know, that's where we are.
But now, how can one still mentally well, especially in this state of the nation?
That's a really good question, and I'm so glad to answer it. So, first of all, you need to be able to talk about it. You need to be able to have the conversation, okay? And second of all, like I always tell my clients and patients, carry your burden. Carry your own. What belongs to you, not what belongs to somebody else. And number 3, talk to somebody. Talk to a therapist. You understand what I'm saying? Talk to a trusted friend, okay? Like I said, Lan is here. We have hundreds of clients. You understand what I'm saying? So, and also get yourself some me time. Now, what is me time? Me time is when you do you. A lot of people don't know how to do them. So I urge everybody, at least 3 to 4 times a week, carve out 1 to 2 hours for yourself. Whether it's reading a book by yourself, I'm not talking about with anybody. Eating a bowl of ice cream if you want the comfort food, watching a movie, praying, dancing, going for a walk, you will find out that these things, as much as like, no, that's not going to work, it works. It helps relaxes you. It helps put you in a different frame of mind. It also helps you to think and get to know yourself. Most people don't know themselves.
That's the worst part of it.
That's the worst thing. And 99% of us don't know ourselves.
True.
You don't even know what's going on with you. You know something is wrong, but you can't pinpoint it. So by the time you relax, take yourself out, actually romance yourself by making time to spend by yourself. You don't need, and then once in a while, spend time with friends. So you can have me time 5 days a week. 4 days is just for you. 1 day is for you and your friends. But that me time is very important. It's like your solitude time when you're by yourself, enjoying your own company, reading, listening to music, praying, whatever it is, swimming, exercising, taking a walk, cooking, learning something new, whatever you have to do for yourself with nobody else involved. That actually helps to calm you down. That actually helps your brain to relax. That actually helps you to think. It actually gives you better ideas. So that something, all of a sudden you're by yourself and boom, you find like, man, I have a solution to this problem that has been worrying me. But if you don't relax and think about it, then you don't have that solution. Okay? And then another thing is find a therapist. There are good ones out there. You know, or like I said, come to Lan. We're really good. Okay? And I'm not saying it just because I'm a founder of Lan, but we're really excellent. You know, talk to a therapist. Get it done. Talk to a trusted therapist. You know, therapist has no judgment. Therapist has no, I told you so. Therapist does not condemn what you do. Therapy is just to help you understand that there are ways out and you can do it better. Okay? So that's what therapy is all about. And take advantage of therapy, of someone you trust. Don't worry about the stigma. Don't worry about things that, forget them. Just do what you can to actually help you get relief, you know? So me time, therapy, carrying your own burden. Yes. So you find a lot of people. Your mom calls you, you have to bring money. If you don't, your whole family is dead. We're depending on you. And then you're running around trying to get money for your mom, your dad, and your sisters. If you're dead, mom and dad and your sisters will still eat. Do you realize that? Okay. If you're not around, mom and dad and your sisters will still eat. But you find out that a lot of parents and a lot of people put pressure on other people for their own needs. So what do? You have to walk before you can run, right?
Yeah.
You can't give what you don't have.
Oh.
So why would you do something to hurt yourself so mommy and daddy can eat because you feel it's your responsibility. Because from when you were young, they told you you have to be the one taking care of the family. No. You need to get yourself together. Then you can take care of the family. Because if you don't get yourself together, you can't give what you don't have. At the end of the day, you're messed up. Family is still there. Whatever, people are still there, but you're messed up. Because you're carrying what? Their burden. You need to carry yours. And what is your burden? Trying to figure out how you can get yourself together so that you're able to take care of yourself and then perhaps have a little bit more to take care of somebody else. Forget about the tradition, the burden, the all that. You can't give what you don't have. So some people, you find them, they go into prostitution because mommy has to eat. Mommy is healthy. Mommy has 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 whatever. Mommy can actually go out there, carry some plank on her head and get some. If you can help mommy, you help mommy, but it's not your responsibility. That's what I mean by carrying your burden. And in Nigeria, everybody, they make it your responsibility. Parents live off of their children. No, I want you to be a doctor because mommy dreamed about being a doctor. And maybe you go to school to be a... Meanwhile, all you want to do is be a makeup artist. And you will suck as a doctor because you don't know what you're doing. Your interest is not there. But then let them put you to put on the makeup and Beyonce will be calling you to give you a job. So we're just in a messed up state because parents can only give you what they're used to. Your parent can only give you what she got from her parents. And vice versa. So when you start carrying your burden, you're able to be more logical to be able to offset what you have to the younger ones. You understand what I'm saying? So we have issues going on. So these are the things that you need to do to be able to get yourself to be in the right head space. Okay? It's very easy.
Well, Aisha is easy. But
It is so easy.
You said something that people should know themselves. I can only say for myself. One thing I know very well, I know myself. But I've met different young people. They don't know their left from their right. Then I want to ask, how do one know themselves? Does it just happen? I can't say for myself. I know it just happened. I just saw myself that I know I like this. I know I'm this. I know I'll follow this. But there are people who are clueless.
Yes.
So how can they retrace? How would they even go about it?
Those people that are clueless, majority of them have gone through issues where they're just living in a state of confusion. Whether it's family issues, whether it's traumatic issues, whether it's school issues, they question everything. Because it's just like you as a parent telling somebody, hey, like a child comes to you, mommy, there's someone beating me in school. Okay? And you say, be a big boy. My friend, shut up, be a big boy and go to school. In the school, he's traumatized, he's being beaten all the time. There's no help coming from anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? He knows, I don't want this. But he's confused because where he's going to get the answers from is not forthcoming. So they grow up what? Not knowing. They know what they want, but they can't get to it because of where they're coming from. So how do they get to that? By actually talking to a therapist, being able to understand, you can do this, encouragement. You understand what I'm saying? Education, awareness. This doesn't have to be like this. Then they're able to now say, I know what I want. Taking time out to think about it, educate themselves and keep their awareness going. There are a lot of kids that don't know their left from their right. All they know is Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, not Facebook. And what's the other one? TikTok. Okay? And they believe that everything there is what it is. That's how life is. Because that's the only thing that they've seen that is constant. Do you get it now? Home is not constant. Whatever mom and dad said, it changes. But you're on TikTok, there's this girl. She's always there looking pretty every day. She's constant. So in your mental headspace, that's consistency. So that means she's like that. So you gravitate to those things you think are the norm because you haven't been used to the norm. You understand what I'm saying? It changes. So that's why you need to really talk to somebody and try to get to know yourself. Because half the time we don't know us. Even adult, you see a lot of older women, 47, 48, 49, 50. The very first thing, they're so traumatized. The very first thing is they sleep in church. Yeah. From morning till night, searching for answers, which they never get. So out of frustration, some of them will poison their husbands. Or something will happen. Or they'll go cuckoo. Because the answers have not been constant. There's nobody to talk to. You call your mother and say, Mom, my husband is beating me. He's like, stay there. After all, my own husband beat me. You deal with it. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And then the girl is confused. So what calms her down? She goes into prayer. Maybe while she's there, the pastor is molesting her there. She's like, whatever. I'm just, whatever. So there's a lot going on. A lot going on. So that's why that mental health thing is so important, that we reach out, we talk to somebody, we're able to get answers for you to understand. Sometimes it just takes a smile, you telling somebody, you're going to be okay, for them to actually find themselves. Or I'm here for you, for them to actually find themselves. Or you're beautiful, for them to actually find themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's really, what it is. You understand what I'm saying? As we're sitting down here, I'm sure there are a few questions you beautifully that you need answered because you're trying to find yourself, right? Okay. All right.
Okay, we have a lot of questions, but at this moment we'll go on the break now.
Okay. All right.
Okay, viewers, I think you guys have to pay for this therapy session when you it's not free.
Like you said, it's expensive.
So we'll be going on a short break now, and when we return, our therapy session continues. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the program. If you've just joined us, this is Engendered, and it's coming to you live from our Abuja studios here on KAFTAN television. Before we went on that short break, we were discussing mental health with our guest here, Angela Brown. What is the state of health in this state of the nation that we are in? So listen to what our guests have to say to you this evening.
So I think moving on, I think I got another question from what she said before, and the question I want to ask is this. You see that you speak to somebody today or by a period of time, you see them on social media posting, you feel like they're living their life. The next thing you hear, they committed suicide or he has mental health issues or stuff like that. Is it possible for your mental health to change?
Yes. And one thing you have to understand is some of the people on social media are dealing with trauma and issues. So that social media thing is an outlet for
I think we need to bring that alarm. Okay? Because people are living
people don't understand. Think about it. Most people want the attention. That attention is probably what they didn't get. It's probably what they're living off of. And sometimes it's sad because, they're not able to address what is actually wrong. And due to that, they can't address what is wrong. Even living that social media life, they're doing well, they have 7 million followers, is not enough because there's underlying things that they have not been able to deal with because they've not been able to address it. So usually you find that happens somebody, you understand what I'm saying? And people should really understand that social media, 99% of the things on social media are just for fun and not really true. But people don't understand it that way. And so you have to live a balanced life. Social media, with a lot of the Gen Z people, social media is the life.
Yeah.
You can even find out that people are babysitting kids with social media. So it's like you still have to practice, know when to curb some excessive behaviors, know when to have a balance. And that's why a lot of people are not really okay, because they don't balance things. You think the life of a celebrity is what you need to have, and that's not the case. And one thing really bad with Nigerians, I'm sorry to say, is that they go with trends that are not necessarily good. Trends that are controversial. And those trends actually cause more harm than good. They imbibe behaviors that are trending. And sometimes those behaviors are not good. That's why we have a lot of drug abuse. That's why we have a lot of sex abuse. That's why we have a lot of issues, going on. And that's making a lot of people become different people than they usually are, So.
Okay, can children actually have mental health issues?
Oh, yes. That's where it starts. Okay? Because one thing we don't know as parents is that children see and understand more. Let's say, for instance, growing up, your parents will always, if they're screaming at each other or fighting, they'll go and hide somewhere, thinking you don't know, but you do know. And it causes a problem with you. Because you're wondering what's going on. Or you see the way your dad treats your mother, and it makes you maybe not have good feelings towards your dad. It also, as you grow up, you don't have good feelings towards men. Or you find out that you gravitate towards men like your father, who are abusive. Because from childhood, you have imbibed those behaviors, those confusing, conflicting behaviors that have been traumatic, and they've stayed with you. So mental health is very important during childhood. And a lot of these Nigerian kids, their mental health is messed up.
Already.
Either due to molestation. If I tell you, if you bring 100 kids here and ask them questions, I can bet you that 70 of them have been molested. Physically, sexually, emotionally. They can't tell their parents. Because if you go to your mom, what were you doing there? You wanted it. Get out! That's exactly what you get. There's no parent that will say, what? Be your advocate. There's no advocate. So you find that most of them keep quiet and deal with it. And then when they get older, it starts coming out. Because now their behaviors, they have anxiety, there are a lot of things they don't want to do. Okay? Usually, some people may be molested and they end up molesting other people. Some people may be beaten, they end up physically beating other people. Some men may see their dads using their mom as a punching bag, and they grow up to be punching baggers. Yeah. So it's mental health is very important during childhood. And in Nigeria, there is a state of just, it's horrible. So you find a lot of these kids grow up, okay, and imbibe behaviors or have been traumatized, don't have an outlet. Most parents are not close to their children. The only place you find a lot of parents close to their children and actually wanting to know what is going on with their kids is, I'm sorry to say, overseas. Here you can find a child and he sees the mom, "Mommy, you're back. Get out. Have you done your homework?" Right. But in overseas or somewhere like the US, "Mommy, you're back. Oh, baby, how are you? I miss you. Come tell me how your day went." You don't see that here.
Yeah, we don't.
"Mommy, I'm back. Get out. I saw you. Didn't you get F9 in your listen? Get out of my face." That's so you find the child doesn't have anybody to talk to. They instead turn to their peers, and their peers don't have great information, or they turn to the neighbors or the house girls who don't have him, are probably abused as kids. They will take it out on your kids. So it's like, it's just a convoluted society. It's really bad. And we all need to be advocates of mental health. We really do. Parents, get involved in your children's life. Very involved. Kids are so smart. You understand what I'm saying? Kids are so smart. Make them your friends, no judgment. Be there, because if you judge your kids, they won't tell you. They would never tell you. You know, so the best thing, do what I do. I make friends with my kids' friends. I'm like the cool, yummy mommy. Then I find out everything I need to know, you know. And some of them be like, "Hey, Miss Angela, I smoke weed." I'm like, "Really? That's interesting. So tell me what the weed does to you. Do you, I mean, is it something you want to do? You know, because there are repercussions. But I mean, I'm not judging you. Yeah, but by the way, does Coco smoke it? Oh no, she's too weird. She don't even want to. I just asked about my daughter because I need to know. You know what I'm saying? So, but you make them your friends. Don't judge them, but give them options. You know, it really does this to you. Do you really want to be like that? Because I heard you saying you want to be an aspiring writer, and if you are, it's going to dull your mind. For real? Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to stop. Great. You don't force it on them. You give them options. Because if you give kids options, this is what will happen. This may not happen. It's your choice. But, you know, I'm just letting you understand. But here in Nigeria, you force it on them. And we beat it out of you. You must go to, in fact, you're going to church. Deliverance. They will deliver you from you.
Oh my God.
You understand what I'm saying? Which doesn't work. Because the child gets used to that deliverance of hitting him, and he just continues doing whatever. He just keeps back tough skin. Thank you. Now he morphs into a monster. So it's like, it's just a vicious circle. So we need to be the advocates. We need to be the change we want to see, starting from all of us here in the
You know,
studio.
I think I have I went to visit my cousin like a few weeks ago, and she's 5 years old.
Yes.
And she told me, she said, "Auntie, I want to tell you something. Can I tell you?" I said, "Please tell me anything." So the way I relate with my cousins, they tell me about their relationship, and I get to advise them. And she said, "I have a crush in school." I said, "Okay, that's good." He said, "But it's not a romantic crush." I said, "Oh, okay." So there's not romantic and not romantic. She said, "Yeah." She said, "The one between Chisom and I've forgotten the person's name. That is a romantic crush. They like themselves, like they want to marry." I'm like 5 years, okay. But mine is just a friendly crush. She narrated everything to me, and I said, "Okay." So after everything she told me, then I told her, "So what do you guys do as well, your crush and all of that?" She said, "You know, sometimes he gives me his juice, his drinks and stuff like that." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." She said, "Can I tell my mom?" When she asked me that question, I knew that maybe there's a resistance there.
Yeah, the gap.
She said, "Are you sure?" Before she went to, she said, "Are you sure you will not look at me so much if I tell you?" I said, "No, I will not look at you so much." I said, "If I tell my mom, will my mom listen to me the way you listen to me?"
Probably not. And the reason she's asking you that
and
is
at
that
that
she's
point,
told a few things and mommy didn't listen.
Yes, and at that point, my auntie passed, and she was like, "Mom, I want to tell you a story." I was like, "Please leave me, there's hits."
So you see, yes, so she gravitated towards you because you were a trusted adult. So in future, if anything was happening to her, she will gravitate towards you because you're not judging her. She can't tell mommy because she has mustered up all courage to tell mommy, and the look of mommy's face, like, say, "Please, there's heat," was enough to down her. Just like also with therapists. You go to a therapist in Nigeria and you're like, "Okay, well, I just wanted to tell you I've dated 30 men." You understand me what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They look on their face and you see the person will stop. "So tell me about it." You know, their look. "Well, no, it's not really." Then they start fumbling around. You know, as a therapist, you have to have what is called a poker face. "Okay, so you did a 30. Okay, so how did that feel?" Inside, you might be like, "What?" But your face cannot say what you're thinking. You might be like, "Okay, so how did that feel? So why did you feel you needed to do that?" You know? And they're like, "Well, you know, it's okay. So let's talk about your childhood. What happened?" Because from there you can delve into what's going on. But if they come and, "Hey, well, you know, that's not a good thing to do. I suggest you go and see which one do you go to? I suggest you go and see the priest." You know, maybe they will help you. You understand? That's the very first thing some of them do. Or your mom brings you, "Please, he needs to see a therapist." Then immediately your mom, "This your child need help." She dated 30 men. In fact, she's suffering from HIV, hepatitis, and you need to, "Madam, I'm sorry for you. I don't know what to do." So then you come home, so this is you, deliverance. You know? Instead of your therapy, there's no confidentiality. A woman can't even go to the doctor and tell the doctor what's wrong without the doctor telling her husband if she's married. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no patient confidentiality. There's no confidentiality from husband to friends. There's even no confidentiality with your parents. Before you know it, they've told auntie so and so.
Mom tells me, if you miss, I will tell your aunties.
Then your teacher will know.
Yes.
Do you know she has left her husband's house? "Pastor, please help me advise her." So those things are what makes people not to seek for help. And we as individuals need to stop. We need to stop. Even friends. You know, some friends are nasty. You don't know you have a friend, they're jealous of you, but they won't even let you tell them something is news to everybody. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not fair. So we all need to be the change we want to see. We really need to be advocates of mental health. That is how you become an advocate. Be that trusted person. Don't judge because you have done worse things. So listen and give advice and keep it in confidence. You see that this place will be a much better place. But people don't know how to keep your things in confidence. They don't. That woman there, she's even on TV and she's doing all this. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, it's really bad. You know, it's really, really bad. So, you know, I'm glad you were able to talk to that 5-year-old. And I think the next step you need to do right now is talk to I think it was your sister or your
my mom's sister.
Yeah, talk to her and educate her. And when you educate her, she will probably do it better. but she doesn't know, because that's what mom used to tell her. Mommy, get out. They don't even know what you want to say. Mommy, I'm hungry. Hunger for yourself there. Mommy, this boy beats me. Are you not a man? A boy is beating you. You should be ashamed of yourself. Slap him next time. But you don't know what led up to what. You don't even pay attention. So that's the problem we have.
It's really a huge problem, because you said there's something that the change starts from within.
Yeah.
But it really take a long while, because this negative circle is really large.
It is. But you know what? We in Nigeria, we're all educated illiterates. That's why you have things called awareness. If you're educated on it, you make better decisions. If you know as a mother that chances are that if you don't talk to your child, you may end up hurting the child, you will try to talk to them. As much as they may want to tell you stuff, you leave it open, or you can actually find them help for someone to tell them. We as parents go through that. I go through that as a parent. Some of the things I hear, I'm like, oh my God. I ask my daughter, I'm like, do you know of Tinder and all this? Yes, mommy. I say, holy God. But I had to keep myself like this. I said, have you ever gone on it? She's like, mommy, do you want to die or do you want to live? I want to live, baby. She didn't answer my question, but she yanks me sometimes. I said, I want to live. But I spent all day calling them, educating them about, telling them funny stories and educating them about dangers. And that's all I could do. You understand what I'm saying? But if they don't know, they can make better decisions. So it's that awareness. You create the awareness. And when you keep creating the awareness, like the bill has been passed, we create the awareness of mental health. People will be like, okay. When you have the awareness, you start practicing. You understand what I'm saying? It's not too late. You may not get 100%, but if you get 40%, that 40 will educate 40 more. You're good. It's just to take baby steps.
So what do you do when you have people around you and you notice that, okay, perhaps they might have these issues, but they don't want to agree and you're trying to help them out?
Okay. So what you do, like let's say you have a co-worker and you notice the co-worker has been sad lately. Usually the co-worker is like a very vivacious person, very funny, very, and you notice they come in, hello, he's like, hi, doesn't do anything. Okay. So you may outright ask them and they get very upset with you or violently. So what do you do in that aspect? I'll tell you what you do. You've known your co-worker, right? Maybe you know that the person likes donuts. You understand what I'm saying? And coffee in the morning. Maybe what you can do is just on your way to work, buy donut and coffee. Be like, hey, Chichi, I got this for you, and leave them alone.
Chidinma, did you hear that?
You understand what I'm saying? And just leave them alone. Don't stay. Okay? Just leave them alone. And the next day you can be like, oh, Chichi, your hair looks nice. And the third day you can go, Chichi, you know what? I'm your friend and I'm here for you if you ever want to talk to me. Leave them alone. You will find out that the next day or the next they'll come to talk to you. You understand me what I'm saying? But don't force it. The trust has to be built. Do you understand me what I'm saying? So you start with what? Some love, a little bit of sugar. It always works. Be nice, be comfortable, and be sincere. You understand what I'm saying? And let it not be something you use and talk about or something you rub in their face. Do you understand what I'm saying? Some people won't even think about it, but if you make a conscious effort to actually think about it, you find out that it is a good feeling. Helping somebody, thinking about somebody, doing nice things is actually a good feeling. If you want to try it out.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
And don't expect anything back.
Thank you.
It really is a good feeling, So that's also being an advocate for mental health. You find out that the person, even somebody walking, like I have somebody that works, he's a cleaner. The CEO passes the cleaner and said, good afternoon, sir, how are you? He's taking a bath. The normal Nigerian, my family after go, just you are smelling, go. Actually treating somebody with dignity is also an advocacy of mental health. You might look at somebody that you know, you're like, you are so beautiful. You have such a beautiful smile. That word alone what has stopped them from committing suicide.
True.
Because all their life, what they're hearing is you're ugly, you're no good, you're worthless. So think about it. A smile goes a long way. Encouragement goes a long way. Even a child. You come in to tell a child, hello, Peter, how are you? You are so smart. I'm so proud of you. You see their face light up. You understand what I'm saying? Just that word alone will make them try. So we have to be conscious of this kind of things. Co-workers, friends, is that just, have you ever called your friend and say, hey, Chidinma, how are you? I'm fine, what is it? Chidinma, I just wanted to tell you, I think you're such an awesome person. And I really like you a lot. Hope your day goes well, okay? That whole day, Chidinma is working on cloud 9.
Yeah. Exactly.
So those are the things, and actually mean it, because some people will not mean stuff. So your whole, non-verbal communication is the worst communication because people see through what you say. You might be like, Chidinma, I think you're the most awesome person I've ever seen in the world. You said it, but your whole face and your whole
I wish we had more time for
so that's usually what it is. So be very conscious of that. Or, your hair is so pretty. Your hair is so pretty.
Yeah.
So those things, just be more sincere.
Yeah.
And more, your non-verbal to be actually sincere.
Right. Thank you so much. It's been an interesting and educating section with you. I wish we had more time. Like, Jared was telling me not to cry. I'm going to cry. Thank you so much for your time. All right, viewers, because we're out of time right now, please always show love to your neighbor, to the next person around you, and be careful. Somebody beside you, even your partner, your children, might actually be going through something and you have no idea. Always create a room and an avenue for them to be able to open up to you. And this is all we can take on today's episode of Engendered on KAFTAN TV. Do well to join us next week Tuesday by 5 p.m. for another interesting session. I remain Chidinma Ufomadu.
And all I have to say, just like the guest said, be sincere in all of your moves. I am Pamela Ajaero. Bye.